Welcome to this video lesson on tutorial 5 sectioning question 2. So in this example, a template is given tutorial5.dwt which you are supposed to open up. Okay, you have to fill in the blanks according to this question given in the tutorial. Okay, in this example here, the plan view has already been drawn for you, but that not be the case for the rest of the other questions. Okay, so for this particular question, the views are being drawn in third angle projection using a scale 1:1. Okay, draw the sectional front view. That means the front view is a sectional view due to cutting plane AA. It means right through in the middle of the part. A sectional view BB, end view, cutting through the holes of the item, and followed by a outside plane view. Alright. Okay, so these are the cutting planes. There is a video on how to create the cutting plane under Brightspace. Please go and take a look at it under the lesson 5 introduction to sectioning. For students who are unsure what is sectioning, please refer to that lesson in Brightspace as well. Alright, so without further ado, let's go on. First, I create the construction line and I create the hole. Right, so these two, the one in the middle is a hole. Click here, it's a true hole. Lines from here to here. Now, so these two holes, I need to change it to match layer to the outline. Okay, so basically when you're cutting or sectioning, you are cutting through the middle of the part, exposing the things that is along this line, along this cutting plane. Okay, so along this cutting plane, I can see the material followed by the empty space, which is the hole, followed by material again, followed by the web. For this web, we do not section the web. Okay, so from here is this location here, and the web extends all the way to the base, right? To here. So the base is at this height level. To here, extends all the way to the U shape, which is this point, which I track, then bring it up. Okay, so this is my web. And last but not least, line for this point here. Okay, so here from this point to the right, this is the empty space. However, I can still see the part at the back, so that's why I still need to draw the outline. Okay, right. So web do not section here in this longitudinal axis. All right, the thin part here do not section. Okay, how do you know when to section and when not to section? I did mention to you that during the lesson time, a web you do not section when you check the direction of cutting. The direction of cutting is in up and in this direction. Okay, so you have to ask yourself this question: does the web goes all the way to the back and towards the front of the part, or it does not? Okay, if the part goes all the way to the back and towards the front, then that means the web should be sectioned. If it does not, like in this case, it's just a thin part relative to the cutting plane, you do not section it. Okay, so that means this portion here we do not hatch. All right. Okay, so let's try out the hatching. Go to set the hatch lines as my current layer. Go to hatching. Okay, all right, it comes to here. So over here we use user defined. use current, that is the current layer. If you have forgotten to change the layer at the home, we can come in here to set H-line as my override. Alright. Oops, let me undo. Okay, H transparency, leave it as 0. Angle will be 45. Usually it's 45 or 135. And change the spacing to 5. Okay, spacing 5. What you need to do is click on the areas to be hatched. Okay, alright, make sure it is associative. And what you need to do is, for me, I like to activate create separate hatches. So if there's any error, I can just delete the region which I'm not interested in, okay, or have a mistake in. Okay, so make sure the properties are 45 degrees, spacing is 5, associative, and press close. Right, and notice that the hatch now appears. Okay, usually the hatching is to represent the material of the part. Alright, so next thing I just add in the center lines. Okay, center line should be in the middle, drag from the top. Okay, each view should have its own center line. Okay, and then a center line for the hole. Okay, so this center line is to represent that there's a hole at the back of the item. Okay, so usually when we do sectioning, we do not show hidden lines. Okay, so there should not be any hidden lines shown in the sectional view. Okay, so next one, how about section BB, which has to be drawn here. Okay, section BB, you notice that the holes are being cut. So you have to imagine yourself walking along this line. So I walk here, there's material here, followed by hole, a gap, followed by material, followed by the web, the hole, and the material again, or the part again. Okay, so I do not care what's in front here, I just care what's along this line. Okay, and from this line onwards, right to the back. Okay, so from here, construction line. Okay, so from here, from this whole location, drop down. Notice it's along the same location, this line here. So let's draw. Repeat the same process for here. So usually I'll start off with drawing just the features first, feature by feature. Otherwise, you might be confused about which feature you're doing right now. Okay, so these are the holes. Alright, because they are now exposed, so they're visible. Okay, take note they're visible. Next thing is along the web. Okay, so on the web, and draw lines for the web from here. So this is going to be my outline. So this represents my hole, this represents a hole, this represents the material and the web. Okay, the part material here. Okay, so for the web here is cut along BB. So what happens is that this web here is cut along this profile, along this slope. I need to project across here. So there's a line here, okay, which is actually a solid line. Okay, so to we section this web together with the material, in this case you have to section the web. Why? So looking at the rule of thumb again, this is the arrow direction. So arrow direction here to the right, to the left, and to the right. Notice that it extends all the way to the feature, to the main feature of the part. Okay, so in this case you need to section. Okay, Alright, so come to here, we go to size, hatching. So I'll be using the same spacing and angle because it's still the same part. Okay, click here, click here, click here. Write 3 different regions. Press close. Next thing, you just add in the center lines. Alright, center line is in the middle of these two, so I can just put shift right click, middle between 2 points, click here, this point and this point, I form a line. Now, okay, just drag it out a little bit more, so I can just copy this one here. Because hole sizes are always the same, I can make use of this corner location to this point here. Okay, once done, okay, if I turn off the construction lines, this is how it looks like. Okay, let me turn on the line weight as well. Okay, this is how the question should be answered.